When you see a laptop like this in the wild, you don't always expect it to have, a high-end mobile processor, powerful discrete graphics, and an ultra-fast, ultra-crisp OLED display to wrap it all up. But that's exactly what you get with the Lenovo Yoga Pro 9i Aura Edition imagined with Intel. And we've partnered with both Lenovo and Intel to showcase what I believe to be their best yoga device yet. Well under an inch thick, weighing just over 4 pounds, so it's portable-ish. It's not like a super chunky, thick gaming laptop. And it ships with a beautiful 16-inch Tandem OLED display, which can be optioned up to a 3200 by 2000 resolution and 120 Hz refresh rate. That is a lot to brag about, but much of it would be meaningless without supporting beefy silicon. And boy, oh boy, do they have us covered in that department. So let's dive in. Combined with the Aura Edition, which essentially beefs up the Intel side of this equation, this laptop sports an Intel Core Ultra 9 285H based on the new Arrow Lake H architecture. It takes mobile performance to the next level with built-in Intel Arc graphics to assist with software suites like Adobe, faster AI-driven outputs with 13 peak NPU TOPS, up to 99 total system TOPS, and 16 cores in a 6+8+2 arrangement. This means that 6 are performance-oriented, boosting up to 5.4 GHz, 8 are efficient, and the remaining 2 are what Intel calls low power efficient. While under heavy sustained loads, the 285H punches well into modern desktop territory, our SKU in particular outscoring the 7000X 3D and Core i7 12700K. Again, in a laptop this slim, and I'm not exaggerating the thickness here, I know this is a larger, like 16-inch device, but it's nowhere near as chunky as, say, a modern gaming laptop, and I think that's one of the pros here is that it is portable enough. But back to our scores, ours places us close to desktop Core Ultra 5 performance. Now those are great chips for the money, right? But this is a truly baffling perspective for the 285H, which is a laptop SKU. And sure, Blender is just one benchmark, but this rubs off into games as well, which we'll showcase later. As for other 3D modeling workloads, the Pro 9i delivers smooth playback useful for 3D printing. In my own personal case, I mean, sure, basic software like Tinkercad is handled off-site, but local imports and slicer software especially tend to bog down on slower machines, so having beefy processors and boatloads of memory can make all the difference. If you're wondering, our sample is spec'd with 32 gigs of RAM, which I think is plenty for gaming, but I do recommend the 64 gig option if the goal is heavy mobile video editing and the like. Now on to a few creature comforts. So I'm going to start with the one that I was most impressed by. There are 6 speakers in the Aura Edition, and this is what they sound like. You may just decide to ditch the headphones altogether, as these provide adequate bass and crystal clear highs. It was even easy to video edit on the laptop speakers themselves. Typically with laptops, I have to wear headphones because the sound quality is just not great, so I don't have a good idea of what the video is actually going to sound like in playback in the real world. This was truly impressive. Typically with laptops, I have to wear headphones because the sound quality is just not great, so I don't have a good idea of what the video is actually going to sound like in playback in the real world. This was truly impressive. Elsewhere, you've probably noticed a familiar yoga design. This shouldn't be too much of a new thing for folks who are already familiar with Lenovo devices. Between its models, the layout really hasn't changed much, and I think that's a good thing. It's super sleek with minimal branding. The deck is clean with a large, comfortable trackpad and soft tenable feedback, a moderately spaced keyboard with an improved 1.5 millimeters worth of key travel, and the expected 10 keys off to the right, given again the 16-inch footprint. There's room for it, they included it, and I'm a fan of it. Even the bottom of the Pro 9i is actually super tidy with only a few words, no logos or certs, and large breathable mesh, and it's all wrapped in 50% recycled aluminum, so you can feel better about what you're buying. If you're curious, here's how the 5 megapixel IR capable webcam looks. This combined with the 4 microphones scattered throughout make for a compelling native video chat arrangement, so there shouldn't really be a need for a detachable webcam if you aren't too picky.
Check, check. Test 1, 2, check 1, 2, 3, check 1, check 2, check 3, test 1. Test 2, test 3, testing, testing, testing.
Other ports around here include a full-size SD card reader, 2 USB 3.2 Type A's, and a power button. Off to the left, dedicated charging port for the included 170-watt brick, a full-size HDMI 2.1 port, 2 Type-C Thunderbolt 4 ports, and a unified 3.5mm jack to round things out. Talk about generous. The new Pro 9i also opens up to 175 degrees, which I'll demonstrate here. I'm not sure really what the use case would be for this, but it can do it. It's also, of course, spec'd in this case up to a 3.2K display, capable of up to like 1600 nits of brightness, which is just stupid bright. I mean, like if you brighten this thing all the way up in a dark room, you'll probably blind yourself. Just be careful. This also means it's gonna perform great in especially like well-lit areas, say outside. If you got direct sunlight hitting this thing, it also performs very well. You don't see the colors washed out like you typically do on dimmer displays. And there's more, 100% of the sRGB gamut, 100% of Adobe RGB, and 100% of P3 coverage, thanks to PureSight Pro. And again, that 120 Hz refresh rate. It's an incredible resume, if I do say so myself. And it's made even better with the inclusion of Tandem OLED technology, which I'll admit I hadn't heard of until we were making this video. It essentially involves stacking two lower power OLED panels, one on top of the other. And the result is a brighter, vibrant screen with reduced risk of burn-in, since each screen is again operating at a lower brightness. And it of course heightens power efficiency. Slowed down, ghosting is practically non-existent, so you're not losing anything there with the inclusion of Tandem. And it makes for an excellent laptop if you're playing like first-person shooters and things like racing titles. And since this is more targeted towards creators, this of course will perform well in Photoshop and other editing suites where having picture-perfect color reproduction is paramount. And again, even in direct sunlight, the screen will remain vibrant and true to life, as you can see here, with peace of mind for static backgrounds and toolbars, again, thanks to Tandem technology. This would be, I mean, I'm picturing all sorts of scenarios where you can use this. I'd say like a wedding photographer. If you wanted to do editing while you're on site, this would be perfect for that. You get great battery life as well, but the screen is just, I mean, you can tell that they really prioritize creators here by including such a well-rounded display. Not only super vibrant, but also super color accurate and extremely fast. But let's be honest for a second. An Intel Core Ultra 9, as great as it is, won't much saturate a top-of-the-line panel in modern games especially. As mentioned earlier, its IGB provides a healthy bump in programs like Adobe's Premiere Pro and Photoshop, where it works in tandem, no pun intended, with discrete GPUs to render timelines and playback on demand. I can also handily render densely packed 4K timelines up to 75% faster than their true lengths, making the Pro 9i a compelling on-the-go workstation for trade shows, again, photo shoots, and 3D modeling. But there's a part of the story that I've yet to reveal. A discrete GPU that solely justifies this beefy overkill panel. A 100 watt, in this case, RTX 5060, which can be spec'd up to a 5070. It amply speeds up our Premiere renders, the entire suite in fact shifting largely to CUDA acceleration over the past few years, and it undoubtedly matters while gaming, allowing Intel's 285H to focus on what it does best. In 3D Mark Time Spy, for example, this combo outranks 54% of all submitted results with a score of just over 10,000, proving not all gaming laptops need to be absolute tanks weighing as much as a stuffed briefcase. And again, I know this isn't being marketed necessarily as a gaming laptop, but it does a heck of a good job at it. Now, you'll probably notice in the balance of power, the 285H is definitely the stronger of the two in this particular setup here. But again, this is where I think the 5070 might come in a bit handy. And the flexibility when speccing a laptop like this is super important because that's a big difference for, again, different use cases. In F123, Starfield, Dirt 5, and more, this machine absolutely chops through frames like its life depended on it, solidifying its place in both 1080p and 1440p departments with the right blend of in-game settings, DLSS, and more. I mean, the sheer ability to leverage two powerhouse chips in something that I can easily stow in a backpack is just super appealing to me. And I know this isn't, again, the smallest footprint. It's a 16-inch laptop. You can only make them so small, at least by length and width. But the thickness is what I think is truly impressive here, given that you can spec this again up to something much more powerful on the GPU side. Now, of course, when looking at the full picture, none of this should really be that surprising. This is one of Intel's top-tier mobile CPUs, paired with, again, a competent discrete counterpart, and it's all packed into this, about as close to a thin and light as a 16-inch device can get, given its productivity and gaming potential. It's honestly pretty difficult to fault. You can play around with different RAM and screen configurations and really get that right fit for you and your needs. I'd personally stick with Tandem OLED, at least. And you can, of course, do things as simple as Netflix and chilling on the weekends, while this thing practically sips on power. So there's that as well. It's the Lenovo Yoga Pro 9i Aura Edition. Be sure to check it out via the links below if you have not already. Again, big shout out to Lenovo and Intel for supporting this channel and throwing a super sweet laptop our way. If you want to stick around for the next video, it'd be super cool. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. And that's about it. Thanks for watching, and thanks for learning.